Hey, I'm glad you're here. Really. Whatever brought you to this video, whatever this particular moment looks like for you, I'm glad you found your way here. Maybe you typed something into the search bar late at night. Something like, how to get inspired again, or I don't feel like an artist anymore, or maybe you didn't even know what you were looking for. You just knew you needed something. And this is that something. This video isn't a tutorial. It isn't a challenge or a prompt list or a productivity hack. This is just a space. A long, slow, unhurried space where we can talk about what it feels like to be a creative person who has temporarily lost the thread. And I want to say that word carefully, temporarily, because that's what it is. It might not feel that way. It might feel permanent. It might feel like something inside you closed and you don't know where the key went. But creativity doesn't disappear. It hides sometimes. It goes quiet. It waits. And part of what we're going to do today, gently, slowly, is coax it back into the light. So for now, let yourself settle. If you're lying down, let your body sink a little heavier. If you're sitting, let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. You don't have to perform anything here. You don't have to be inspired by the end of this. You don't have to create something when it's over. You just have to listen. That's it. That's enough. Part 1. You are not broken. I want to start with something I think you need to hear. You are not broken. I know it can feel that way. When the blank page doesn't call to you anymore. When the brushes sit untouched. When the instrument is in the corner, and every time you look at it, you feel something between guilt and grief. That feeling has a name. It's not failure. It's not proof that you were never really an artist. It's exhaustion. Creative exhaustion is real. It's physical. It's emotional. And it can arrive so quietly that you don't even notice it's happening until one day you realize you haven't made anything in weeks. Or months. And here's what I want you to understand. Exhaustion is not the same as emptiness. Exhaustion means something was there. It means you gave. You showed up. You poured yourself into something. Maybe for a long time, and now your well needs to be refilled. That's not failure. That's the natural rhythm of any living, breathing creative life. Think about it this way. A garden in winter doesn't look like much. Bare branches. Frost-covered earth. Nothing blooming. But nothing is dead. Everything is resting. Storing energy. Waiting for the conditions to change. You might be in your winter right now. And winters end. They always end. I want to ask you something. You don't have to answer out loud. Just let it settle somewhere inside you. When did you last feel creative without pressure? Not creating for someone else. Not creating to prove something. Not creating because you should. Just making something because it felt good. Because it was yours. Try to remember that feeling. Not the result. Not the finished piece. The feeling during. The quiet focus. The time disappearing. The strange, specific joy of being lost in something you're making. That feeling still lives in you. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just buried under a lot of noise right now. And we're going to gently, slowly, clear some of that away. Part 2. The pressure we carry. Let's talk about pressure. Because I think it might be the thing that's most in the way. We live in a world that has wrapped creativity in a very strange kind of packaging. It tells us, create, but make it good. Share, but make it relatable. Be authentic, but make it aesthetically consistent. Be vulnerable, but be inspiring while you do it. And somewhere in all of that noise, the actual act of making something, the raw, messy, uncertain, joyful act, gets buried under all the expectations around it. So let me ask. When you imagine sitting down to create right now, what's the first feeling that comes up? For a lot of people, it's not excitement. It's dread. Or a kind of heavy flatness. Or this exhausting loop of, I should make something. But what if it's bad? It'll probably be bad. I used to be better than this. Maybe I was never that good to begin with. I should just wait until I feel inspired. But what if I never feel inspired again? Sound familiar? That loop is not creativity. That's anxiety pretending to be a creative process. And the only way out of it is not to push harder. It's to make the stakes smaller. Much, much smaller. Here's a reframe I want to offer you. What if, for a while, you thought of creating as something you do for no reason? Not for followers. Not for growth. Not to build a body of work. Not to stay relevant. Just because. The same way a child draws before they know what art is. They don't ask whether it's good. They don't wonder if it will resonate with their audience. They just pick up the crayon and put it to the paper and see what happens. That state, that unguarded, playful, nobody is watching state, is still available to you. It hasn't been locked away, but the door to it is very small. And the only way through is to make the thing that lets you forget you're trying to be an artist. If no one would ever see it, I would make. Don't think too hard. Don't edit yourself. Just notice what comes up. Whatever you thought of that thing. That's where your creativity is waiting. Part 3. The myth of inspiration. Let's talk about inspiration. Because I think we have it backwards. Most of us believe the sequence goes like this. You get inspired. Then you create. But almost every artist who has ever talked honestly about their process will tell you the opposite is true. You start. And then, somewhere in the middle of starting, inspiration shows up. It's not a beginning. It's a guest that arrives midway through the party. And it will not come if you're sitting on the couch waiting for it. It comes when your hands are moving. When the pen is on the page. When the brush is wet. When the words are coming out, however clumsy. Inspiration is attracted to action. Even tiny, tentative, shaky action. Now, I'm not saying force yourself to create. That's not what this is. I'm saying there's a difference between forcing and beginning. Forcing looks like sitting down and demanding something brilliant from yourself. Setting a timer. Telling yourself you have to finish something by the end of the day. Beginning looks like picking up the pencil just to hold it. Opening a sketchbook to a blank page and just looking at it. Humming something without trying to make it a song. Walking somewhere with your eyes soft. Not searching for anything. Beginning is low stakes. Beginning is just the act of showing up in the room. And you know what? That's already more than most people do. The artists who have been doing this for a long time, who have moved through seasons of abundance and seasons of drought, and who are still here. Still making things. Still curious. When you ask them about those dry periods, they almost always say the same thing. They kept showing up. Not because they felt inspired. Not because they had a brilliant idea waiting. They showed up because the act of showing up was the relationship they had with their work. And relationships don't survive on inspiration alone. They survive on showing up, even when it's awkward. Even when you have nothing to say. Even when you'd rather be anywhere else. So here's your only job, if you want one. Show up. Imperfectly. Briefly. Without any expectations of what should come from it. Just show up. There's something important that often gets missed when we talk about creativity. And it's this. You can only give out what you take in. Creativity isn't manufactured out of thin air. It's assembled from what you see, what you feel, what you experience, what you read and hear and taste and notice. It's made from input. And if you've been in a long period of output, working, creating, producing, sharing, you might have simply depleted your reserves. The well isn't dry, but it needs to be refilled. So what fills the well? Not scrolling, not consuming content with half your attention. What actually fills the well is presence. Being somewhere, fully. A few things that tend to help. Long walks with no music. Just you and whatever is outside. The light on the sidewalk. The sound of wind in trees. The way a shadow falls across a building. Not looking for inspiration, just looking. Reading something old. Not articles. Not feeds. A book. An old one if possible. Something written before the internet. Before everything had to be optimized and scannable and shareable. Just language, doing what language does. Being in a room with art you didn't make. A museum if you can. A gallery. Or just finding art online that genuinely moves you. Not art that makes you feel behind, but art that makes you feel something. Something like wonder. Or curiosity. Or that quiet ache that means, this is true. Conversation. With someone who thinks differently than you do. Who does something completely different than you do. Ask them how they see things. What they notice. What they find beautiful or strange or worth paying attention to. You'd be surprised how often a creative block dissolves in the middle of a good conversation that has nothing to do with your work. What feeds you. Not what should feed you. Not what feeds other artists. What actually, genuinely, historically has made you feel more alive. Follow that. Without justifying it. Without making it productive. Just follow it. Comparison, the quiet thief. We have to talk about comparison. Because for many artists, especially now, comparison is the single biggest reason creativity goes quiet. We are living through an unprecedented moment in the history of human creative life. For the first time, we can see what every other artist in the world is making. In real time, every single day. And our brains, which were not built for this, try to process it as information about ourselves. Look how far along they are. Look how effortless it looks for them. Look at all the people who respond to their work. What am I doing wrong? And slowly, without even realizing it, you start creating for an audience that doesn't exist. Not your real audience. Not the people who actually love your work. But some imaginary committee of evaluators who are constantly judging everything you make against everything everyone else is making. That is an impossible standard. And it will shut you down every time. Here's something worth remembering. You are not behind. There is no schedule. There is no correct pace at which you are supposed to be developing as an artist. The artist you're comparing yourself to, the one who seems so far ahead, is also comparing themselves to someone else. It goes all the way up. Even the artists you admire most have looked at work that made them feel small, have questioned whether they had anything real to offer, have gone through exactly what you're going through. The ones who kept going are the ones who found a way to keep their eyes on their own page. If you needed permission to stop comparing, you have it. Close the tabs. Or at least open them differently. Instead of asking, how am I doing compared to this? Ask, what can I learn from this? Or, what do I love about this? Or just, how does this make me feel? Let other people's work be a source of beauty, not measurement. That shift alone can give your creativity a lot of room back. What small looks like. I want to spend some time here talking about small, because I think we've been taught to chase big projects, big statements, big growth. And there's nothing wrong with big. But when you're coming back to creativity after a period of quiet, big is often the enemy of starting. Big says, this needs to be significant. Big says, don't bother unless you have something to say. Big says, if it's not your best work, what's the point? Small says something different. Small says, just this moment, just this one mark on the page, just this one photo, just this one melody, just this one sentence. Small doesn't ask for your whole self. Small just asks for a small part. Right now. Just this. And here's the secret about small. It builds. Not because small becomes big, though sometimes it does, but because small keeps the channel open. The channel between you and your creativity. That channel is a living thing. It needs to be used. Even gently, even barely. And every small act of making, every little thing you do with no expectation, is a way of saying to your creativity, I'm still here. I'm still listening. Come when you're ready. Let me offer you some very small things you could do today. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Not when you have the right supplies or the right space or the right mood. Today. Sketch one thing. Open a sketchbook, any sketchbook, even one you haven't touched in a long time, and draw one thing in front of you. Anything. A glass. Your hand. The shape of light on the wall. Just one thing. Just to say, I was here, and I looked. Write one sentence. Not a paragraph. Not a page. One sentence about something you noticed today. A color. A smell. A feeling in your chest you didn't know what to do with. One sentence. That's all. Make one sound. Pick up an instrument, or open a voice memo on your phone, and make a sound. Not a song. Not a composition. Just a sound. See what comes after it. Take one photograph. Not of something beautiful. Not of something worth sharing. Of something you actually saw. Actually noticed. Just for you. Small, small, small. Smaller than you think you need to go. Go smaller. And from there, just see what happens. The long game. We're near the end of our time together. And I want to leave you with something that I hope you'll carry with you past the end of this. Making art, making anything, is a long game. Longer than any single piece. Longer than any single season. It is the work of a lifetime. And lifetimes have everything in them. They have years of abundance. Where ideas arrive faster than you can catch them. Where work pours out of you. Where you feel most fully yourself. And they have years of quiet. Of searching. Of sitting with the absence and waiting. Both of those are part of it. Both are necessary. The quiet seasons are where you deepen. Where something underground is preparing to bloom. Where you gather the experiences and the grief and the wonder that your future work will be made from. They are not wasted time. The artists I think of are not the ones who never struggled. They're the ones who kept choosing to return. After the hard seasons. After the years of doubt. After the stretches of silence. They chose to return. Not with some great burst of inspiration. But quietly. Tentatively. With a small thing. A walk. A sketch. A note. And that small thing opened the door to the next small thing. And eventually, not right away, not that day, but eventually, the work came back. It always comes back. So here's what I want you to hold. Your creativity is not gone. It is patient. It is waiting for you to believe in it again. Or even just to stop disbelieving in it, which is sometimes all it takes. It doesn't need you to be brilliant. It doesn't need you to be prolific. It needs you to be willing. Willing to begin, even badly. Willing to make something that goes nowhere. Willing to show up on the days when it feels like nothing will come, because those are the days that matter most. Those are the days you prove to yourself that you are still an artist. Not because of what you made, but because you showed up. So today, if you do one thing, let it be small. Let it be yours. Let it be enough. Closing. Come back anytime. You can return to this space whenever you need to. Whenever the silence gets too loud. Whenever the comparison creeps back in. Whenever you sit down to create and nothing comes. You can come back here. And we'll begin again. Together. Slowly. In the smallest way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being an artist. Even now. Even in the quiet. Especially in the quiet. Go gently.